Hello, degenerates, and welcome back to another Wild Ride review. As I mentioned in the last video, something I do need to talk about is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So I've had the pleasure of going on this attraction ride twice, once for a cast preview, and the other time just on my most recent visit when I did go Rise of the Resistance 2 days ago. So one thing that's kind of unfortunate is if you do decide to visit Hollywood Studios now, you will not experience the pre-show, and that is kind of a travesty, as that pre-show really does provide a lot of context for what the attraction is, and really does get you immersed into the whole thing. Just like the last one, I'll talk about the ride, kind of the overall vibes it has, and then give my synopsis, and then spoiler territory afterwards. So overall, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a historically significant attraction. It does have the misfortune of replacing the Great Movie Ride. However, it is also the first attraction that Mickey Mouse has starred in. We've had things that he's been in, but they've always been shows. So like PhilharMagic, Mickey Mouse Revue, Fantasmic, those are shows. It has never been a solid ride based on this character, and that's a landmark for him. It is kind of funny that it does end up being the new cartoon style that he has, but absolutely no qualms with that. If you've never seen the new Mickey Mouse shorts, I do highly recommend watching them, as they are extremely well put together and honestly way more out there than you would expect for a Mickey Mouse short. They truly do. They do take some risks with them, and I applaud them for doing that. But if you love the manic energy from them, you will absolutely love Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. And even if you don't, you're going to come away with a lot of appreciation. If you did not know, the whole premise of this is that you are pretty much the whole gimmick is that you're supposed to feel like you're in this cartoon world and very much like living and breathing in the same space that these characters are, and they do a really good job with this. Like it is advertised as a 2.5D attraction. The main way that they get around this is like mostly through a lot of projection effects, and honestly, like even if you watch videos, it's not going to really do it justice unless you experience the whole thing for yourself. This one is a rewritability machine. There is way too much stuff going on, and depending on what vehicle you're in is really going to determine like what aspects of the scenes that you're going to see. So there's like so many reasons why you need to go back and rewrite this. So you ride it once, you're probably going to want to ride it again. It's just that, obviously, brand new ride. It's probably going to have long lines for a very long time, especially since it's a really good family ride, and they do need more of that in Hollywood studios. The other thing too is I think capacity wise it is extremely good. Like there's like 4 vehicles each train that goes on, and once it gets to full capacity again, I honestly don't think you're probably not going to see lines that long over an hour once it's all set in stone. So I think on that front, like it's actually going to be a pretty good success. Not to mention, you do get to use the Chinese theater as the queue, so that's always a pretty nice area to be. But if it's popular enough, you might be stuck outside for a decent amount of time as well. So we'll have to see how that goes in the long run too. But yeah, overall, it is a family attraction, so basically anybody can do this. You really don't have to worry about motion sickness or anything like that. That's good. Aesthetically, it's easily perfectly done. Like the way that they integrate it into the Chinese theater, really well done from the outside and even on the inside too. The entire story makes sense for you being inside the Chinese theater, and when you get to the actual like world of the ride itself, it's like presented immaculately. Like while they do have some animatronics on there that I think are a bit weird from certain positions, there's a lot of animatronics that they do have there that do work extremely well, and a lot of really cool, inventive, and creative ones. And like they're even able to transfer the manic energy of hand-drawn cartoons into this attraction itself, even from like drastic transformations and changes and everything. And honestly, it's something that I can't really describe to you unless you experience the attraction for yourself. So like overall, while there's not a big thrill factor to it, there is an immense fun factor, and it's gonna be really hard for you to go on this ride and just come away cynical from it and like not enjoy any aspect of it. The song "Nothing Can Stop Us Now" is like the most catchy thing in the entirety of the world, like pretty much right up there with "It's a Small World." You're gonna be humming that thing for the rest of the day. It's actually insane how well manufactured that song is. And not to mention, it does play like now on the Hollywood Strip because it is a part of that too. The fact that there's multiple storylines going on during this attraction too is really neat too. So that adds more to that rewritability factor. Like easily, that's one of its strongest parts to it as well. Um, so with all those things being said, it's a great ride, great aesthetics, great music, really inventive use of the ride system too. I'm gonna have to cover that in spoiler territory. Um, and then just like overall, just like having while it doesn't really pay homage to the Great Movie Ride, it is a worthy successor to it. And I think that's the main thing that I had to live up to. Because if it wasn't a worthy successor of taking out the icon and the identity of Hollywood studios, then like this thing would have very easily run this park into the ground pretty quickly. But thankfully, it doesn't do that. And even if you are a huge fan of the Great Movie Ride, well, you're definitely going to miss it. It's always going to feel a little bit bitter to going there. You'll probably still come off this ride smiling. That's kind of a testament to how well of a job they did. So overall, very happy with it. It's a very good addition to Hollywood Studios, a very necessary addition to it as well, and it fits very snugly into the Disney catalog of rides. And honestly, it's a really nice step forward of seeing this type of attraction being implemented into Walt Disney World because it has been lacking it for a while. So with that said, I'm going to finally talk into spoiler territory because now I've kind of run out of things to talk about. So with that said, spoilers, 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 final warning, spoilers, spoilers, beyond this. Can't help you there. And let's go. So, it is a trackless dark ride. Basically, what happens at the beginning is you are on the train with Goofy. You're going to go on your wonderful picnic. And then Mickey and Minnie hit a switch, and the train goes away. And that's your first thing. You're like, oh, well, that happened. And now all the trains are free to let loose and do whatever they want like a proper cartoon. And speaking of cartoon, that's the other thing I forgot to mention, the pre-show. You first go there in the Chinese theater, and you're there to watch a short, a Mickey Mouse short. It goes on, and then, of course, the pie that's there clogs the locomotive and it blows a hole in the entirety of the barn, which blows a hole in the screen, which allows you to go in, and Goofy does some nice banter with the cast member there, and then you find yourself in. So that unfortunately does not happen in the current state of it during the pandemic. Basically what happens is the screen's already blown through. The cast member gives you a little introduction. Hey, Goofy kind of blew a hole in the barn, which blew a hole in the screen. But he's got a locomotive set up for you to go enjoy the park. So come on through. So unfortunately, seeing the actual short itself and seeing the way that they make the hole, like blow a hole in the screen effect work, is one of the most impressive effects I've ever seen and really sets you up for going into the cartoon itself. And when you get there, the way that they've made the fences and everything, the music that starts and all that stuff, expertly done. Like, I don't think they could have done a better job with that pre-show even if they wanted to. And then, of course, I think it's like 3 rows per car there, and there's 4 of them, plus the train itself. And the cool thing is by the end of the ride, because of all the shuffling you do, you're actually in a different position. Like, I was in the front at first, but we ended up in the third position by the end of it. So that's pretty neat. And something I forgot to mention is the picnic basket gets loose, and that's the reason why the train blows up. And Pluto's trying to deliver the picnic basket to Mickey and Minnie the entire time. So Mickey and Minnie trying to save you guys is one storyline, and Pluto trying to save the picnic's the other storyline. So when you go on it multiple times, look out for Pluto when you're on it, because that's pretty much the other main point of contact. And because of it is a projection-based show, there's so many Easter eggs thrown out there, like obscure characters, hidden Mickeys, just everywhere in this attraction. There are too many things for your eyes to look at and different positions that you need to be in to fully see everything. So that's the reason why it's just like a masterfully crafted, rewritable ride. Just because it's like you're always going to see something new when you're on this, probably for like the next 100 times that you go on it, guaranteed to find something new. And the cool thing is, like, it's not like Haunted Mansion or Pirates where it's like the same things going on every single time. It's because like there are while it is the same things going on every single time, depending on when you get there will determine what you're able to see there, and where your position will determine what you're able to see as well. So a lot of different things do come into play there, not only just seeing a lot of things, but having to see it from different positions. And just pick up other narrative beats that are going on. Like maybe Pluto isn't the only other storyline that's going on. Very possible. The other thing too is like what I think everybody's favorite scene there is like when you go to this jungle part, a volcano blows up, and then you go to your individual parts where you go to the underwater thing. It's a really nice, lovely tribute to the Jungle Cruise boat rides that they had in Disney Quest. So I don't know if anybody of you guys experienced that, but you'll probably feel very similar. Like they're on the yellow raft paddling out, and obviously they can't control it. And then of course when you go back out, the whole area is just underwater. And the first time you see a full, complete transformation of a section, and then of course the next one that happens is when you get to the factory. Mickey's about to die. They shut off the machine, and then it turns into a beautiful park, which was apparently the main reason why the ride got delayed as long as it did. Like, I think it was like 6 months or something like that. Um, and that's beautifully done. And then, of course, you hear the final rendition of Nothing I Can Stop Us Now, which is one of the most relaxing things out there. And it's a really, really, really nice come down song that they have, too, that, like, just, like, helps mellow you out through all that manic cartoon energy that you just went through. And, like, it just hits you really nicely. Like, overall, the pacing's really well done. Like, while, like, the whole beginning after the train derails and, like, the manic energy of, like, the Wild West, the park, and the what's it called, and the city, like, gets you, then you get to Daisy's segment, which, like, it slows you down really. Actually, no, you go to the park, and then you go to the water section. Like, putting you in those individual things, like, helps, like, calm it down a little bit since you're not moving around as much. But then you get out, you see that transformation, a really nice water calming thing. Then you get to the city, where that city's just vibrating like crazy because of Pete. And then you get to Daisy, where it's another nice calming section, and you do, like, your conga dances and everything, and your waltz. And then, of course, you get, like, the final part with, like, the factory and all that stuff. And then you get your calming part too. Like, it really knows how to build and, like, drop its energy really, really nicely throughout the entirety of the attraction. And, that's another thing I have to applaud for it. Like, despite everything being projection based, and while there are physical props, they're not the most complex things. But because of the way that it's animated and implemented it to everything, like, it does feel like there was just so much love and energy poured into it. And, like, you just really feel that going throughout this. Like, nothing about it feels like a slap job or anything like that. And even though it's like, the physical props are minimal, it felt like everything was there, like, put in, like, smartly and intelligently. And if some of those things were budget cuts and all that stuff, it really doesn't feel like that as well. So overall, I can't really say enough praises about this ride. While it's probably not, like, my favorite attraction that we have in Walt Disney World, and I don't know if it would even make my top 20, very possible it might, it's still honestly something that I will endlessly appreciate everything that it does. Like, it's full-blown, like, showcase of what you can do with projection effects, the lovable songs that are through it, a masterfully crafted pre-show, and not, like, one that overstays its welcome at all, a masterfully crafted use of a trackless ride system and all the different creative energy you can do. Like, it really feels like they took the lessons from all the other trackless ride systems that have been out there and, like, applied all their knowledge to this. And then, a really good tribute to the Mickey Mouse cartoons themselves. Like, just the energy and the amount of characters that they were able to cram into this attraction is insane and mind-boggling. And just, like, a really good understanding of how to do, like, multi-layered storytelling that could just, like, entertain the whole family. Like, literally everything that you want Disney to do out of an attraction, this attraction does. And it's not just average. Like, it is well above average. Like, it is very easily an 8, 9 out of 10 attraction. Once again, as I mentioned, like, very well done. Not my favorite of the things that they've done, but it is just, like, something that I really don't have any negatives about. Like, it's really hard to find something to say bad about this attraction. So, with kind of all that through, yeah, definitely. If you're in Hollywood Studios, check out this ride. If you see it a 50-minute wait and it's your first time doing it, definitely worth doing. I wouldn't recommend going during the pandemic in general. Just don't go to theme parks during a pandemic. Should go without saying. But, just because it is a lesser experience if you do it for this attraction in particular. So hopefully once this is all over, you can go to it. You can experience the entirety of the pre-show itself and go through the entirety of that too. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. When you go out the exit, you actually go through another screen as well that says the end. So they even keep the fact that you're going in and out of a cartoon consistent with it, which I love that. Like, they really did make sure to pay attention to the final detail there and make sure that the whole story comes full circle. And I love this attraction, and I really want you guys to check it out. Like, physically, there's no barrier for you guys. Wheelchair accessible, no motion sickness or anything like that. And even age specific, like, you're not going to get scared on this attraction. Like, maybe there's loud noises and whatnot, but that's really it. So with that said, I hope you guys check this out, and I hope you'll be able to ride it soon. So with that said, let me know down in the comments below. Have you been on this attraction? What were your thoughts about it? What'd you like? What didn't you like? If you've seen a ride through, what didn't you like about it, or what did you like about it? Or did this video get you interested in seeing it? So let me down in the comments below. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a dislike if you didn't, and explain why you didn't like it. And of course, just let me know what videos you're interested in seeing from me in the future on themed entertainment. So with all of that being said, I am unfortunately going to have to break my streak of having daily uploads, as I am not going to have anything for Monday most likely, but we'll have to see. If this ends up not being true, congratulations me on mission accomplished. And then if it does end up being true, I at least warned you guys. We're going to have one day without a daily video. But with that said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you would like to see more from these reviews, because I am definitely going to do more of these, and what information and thoughts on them that you specifically want me to talk about, to just kind of like further talk about my love of this and just kind of expand your knowledge on these things. So with that said, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and take care of yourselves until the next one.